Good evening and welcome to the Star Chamber Show live podcast. It is a great Wednesday evening here in central Kentucky, where we are broadcasting to you with episode number 430. This is Stephen Zimmer, and joining me in the co hosting chair tonight is the loquacious, the vivacious, the wonderful Holly Phillippe from Indiana. Holly, how are you doing?
Hello, I hope you can hear me.
Yes, I can, loud and clear. How are you doing,
Yes,
Holly?
I'm doing great. I guess I'm sorry to poor the Vamp Chat guys is on Podbean every Wednesday, like 2 hours before us. They start at 7, and
Every
it's
other
Dan
Wednesday.
Clevstead and Eva Vertris,
Yes.
and they had some problems and could not connect, so they
Oh
get a hold of
no.
me,
Oh no.
and they were all upset, and I'm like, oh no, and
Yeah,
thank goodness whatever it was fixed
yeah, it
itself,
resolved
or
itself. That's
yeah,
good. Yeah,
it
we know,
works
but
for us, so good.
we well over the years we've been through our share of platform issues sometimes, and so thankfully and fingers crossed, knock on wood. But it's been pretty solid since we've been on Podbean. So yeah, that's definitely
Yeah,
something that
that's what I
we're.
said. We've
It's
had
like
no
wow,
problem
no
here,
problem.
and I'm just shocked, but uh, maybe it was just a fluke on their end or
Yeah,
something to do with the connection. I don't know because there's a lot of live podcast on right now. That's going
yeah,
real good.
yeah. They're
So
rolling right now. I saw that. I
yeah,
checked that
so
when I got your message earlier, and it looked like everything was running. So yeah,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
but
So that's the joys, guys, of a live
yes,
broadcast.
live
You get
broadcast,
extra
whole experience.
bonuses. You get excitement from tornadoes
Uh-huh.
and
Tornadoes.
fires, and you hear an occasional kitty, and yeah, it's fun.
Cats, cats, though, that's fun. That's genuinely
That's a
fun.
good thing. Yes.
Yeah, that's definitely a good thing.
Mhm.
But, wow, I mean, that's a well, we're underway here, so that's good news.
Yeah,
That's
they got theirs
good news.
rescheduled, so
Yeah,
all is
so, yeah,
well. They'll
I
be
guess,
fine. They'll be back
but,
next Wednesday. So
next what? Yes, yeah, great show. Great show. That's with Dan Klefstad and Ava Vertris, and it
yes,
is really, really good. And if you're into vampires, it's definitely a podcast you want to be on. And I can neither
yes,
confirm nor deny that yours truly may be appearing there on October the 16th. So yeah, you should tune in to find out why I'm relevant for that show. It may surprise you. So yes. But we got a good chat room. This chat room is operating, and definitely want to welcome some folks. I do see Ava in there. I also see Sandy Leonard, the genre blender, and I'll be getting to a note or two on her in just a second. And yes, tonight's guest is in there, who I will be giving a great introduction to shortly. Came on short notice, and yeah, we'll say tonight's guest early in the day. Yeah, you probably saw that the posts about Michael Nost. Poor Michael has come down with an illness to where he is just coughing relentlessly, and on an audio podcast that makes it extremely difficult, obviously. And so Michael unfortunately had to cancel today. We have talked to him about rescheduling very soon, so we're going to try to get him on as quick as possible. And but we have good news for you because we found an amazing
yes, we
guest
do.
to step in on short notice tonight. So yes, sometimes good things do happen when you're working in the world of live podcasts. And so I will be bringing this guest in just shortly after we get through our Imaginarium news and other updates. I do want to congratulate Sandy Lender on an outstanding book, Silver Bells. Yes, I was given a copy to consider for blurb consideration, and this past weekend I got the chance to read it in full, and I got just a really great book. It's a Christmas horror novel, and I'm telling you, she brings the Christmas spirit into it so well. And yeah, it's got just that Christmas atmosphere that's woven in. It walks that fine line with everything, all the different genres that Sandy. That's why we call it a genre blender. I mean, it plays like a mystery and suspense novel. It's a horror novel. It's got so many different elements in it, paranormal elements. I mean, it's just really cool, and it's a fairly quick read too. It's about a 200 pager in print, and of course Sandy's always got excellent smooth prose, and yeah, just a great book. Really, really enjoyed it. And I'm going to be posting my thoughts along with a picture from the deck that I took with a nice little glass of bourbon and the book. Yes, I finally got to read outdoors in the back deck, and that made it just even more pleasant. So always my favorite spot to
I would
read.
love to be home sitting
Yeah.
on the back deck reading, but
Yes, I know.
I've been stuck up in
But
Indiana since the
you're going to be
beginning of
back
all this.
soon. You
I
are going to
will
be
be
back
back
soon,
soon.
which was good news. And second, yes, poor Holly's been in exile in Indiana for a few weeks,
Uh,
and she is coming back sooner than they thought because her mom is
yes,
healing quicker than they anticipated. So that's very good news. And then the other
she's
little bit of
ready
good
to
news,
get rid of me. That's what it is.
and
It
I
gives
will
her
be
incentive.
and I will be up there to see Holly, which I can't wait, counting down the hours because I get to finally see Holly again on Friday. Can't wait to see
Yay!
Holly though in person. So because it's absolutely awful without Holly around. As far as it's like my other half is gone. So it's
Yeah, it's sad.
yeah, it
We
is.
are we are a one unit, and
Yeah.
yeah,
So
yeah,
it's been a little
it
rough.
sucks.
Yeah. And hello to
Hi,
Dewan.
Nessa. Nessa just
Juan
came
Hearn,
in.
Nessa Brown just come in. So, hello to the folks that are rolling into the show. Definitely good to see you all. And of course, this podcast is affiliated with the Imaginarium Convention. And wow, I mean, just continues. I mean, every week we're announcing tons of new guests and new developments, and we just got great momentum. Now, reminder, folks, you only have one more week to get discounts. We have some big
Yes,
early discounts on event tickets and expo spaces, so don't miss out on that. Just 1 week left on that, and I mean, it's going to be a great year with Heather Graham and Jonathan Mayberry. You can catch
yes,
both of them on recent Star Chamber Show episodes. Both those episodes were amazing. I mean,
phenomenal.
we've been on quite a roll with that. Also, check
Yes,
out the recent one with spotlighted guest Dan Stidham and on the
yes,
West Memphis 3 case. That was amazing, and he will be at
yeah. Judge
Imaginarium.
Judge Stidham
Check
is
it.
awesome.
Yeah, Judge Stidham is amazing, and so check that out. But just since last week, we've got some great folks that we have announced, and it includes no less than 6 new panelists. So I would like to announce that yes, we will have the return of the amazing award-winning author Tommy B. Smith, who of course is a show favorite, convention favorite, best guys all around. Tommy B. Smith. And making her first appearance to Imaginarium is Meadow Hora. We're really happy to see, and she is a great author. We also welcome back author Lynn Slaughter, who had a family conflict last year, so had to miss last year, but she is
Which
returning, and
was,
we're
yeah,
very
we
excited.
we definitely missed her.
Yeah, we love Lynn. Yeah, she's with the Derby Rotten Scoundrels, and of course that's a great group of mystery authors that attend, and great to hear that Lynn will be returning. Also, author, publicist, and digital marketing specialist Ed Downs will be making his first visit as a panelist to Imaginarium. Recently had a contract with Undertaker Books, and so definitely give a shout out to him on that upcoming release. Really excited about that for Ed. And then just today, we announced author publisher Sarah Marion. Yes, one of the Per Bastet folks coming back, and also author, editor, publisher, and now screenwriter. You've got a new credential there, Mick Williams. Yes, the one and only Mick Williams from across the pond, as we like to say. Yes, from Trent on Stoke in England originally, but now makes his home in Kentucky, and definitely excited to see him coming back. So there's the new additions to the convention. Holly, do you have any updates to give us?
I will say once the discounted link is closed, look out, people, because if you sent me a workshop idea and it was a banger, I will be getting a hold of you. I will tell you it's going to be harder and harder to pick through all these. And so if yours isn't chosen, hey, it could be turned into a panel or, try again next year because I am getting some really, really interesting niche workshops already pouring in. And so yeah, I will be um putting some of those on the programming already, and I will be able to start talking about those in
Yeah,
future weeks here.
absolutely. And yeah, it's just, I mean, we're way ahead of where things were last year, even. I mean, it
Yeah.
was Yeah, the momentum is just great. Go check out our guest list. We got, of course, many faces you'll recognize and love to see on
A
that
lot of new
list.
ones.
But we've also got a lot of new ones already, and definitely got applications processing, new people being notified, and yeah, it's a lot. But yeah, we're and somehow we're managing to hold up, even though Holly and I are in two different locations right now. But yeah, definitely keep your eyes on the site because there's going to be some a number of great guest announcements forthcoming. So keep an eye on that, folks. And but yeah, I'll go ahead and we'll give some spotlight to the folks that brought you tonight's show. And then we are going to go to our awesome, awesome guest who also has an Imaginarium connection as well. So, but first of all, I will give you first a little bit from Sandy Lender with the aforementioned novel Silver Bells. But let's hear from Sandy. Here we go.
What happens when you accidentally schedule a Krampus movie on the Hallmark Channel? You get Silver Bells by Sandy Lender. Silver Bells is a Christmas horror story, and it will be available in print and ebook on Friday, the 13th of September, just in time for Halloween and Christmas greetings. Join Sandy during her online tour for Silver Bells during September. Then join the mature main character, Ivy Light, as she navigates the paranormal upset of spiritual warfare at Reindeer Creek. Finally, join the mayhem of Silver Bells by Sandy Lender when you pre-order and purchase your copy on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and all your favorite e-platforms.
And thank you, Sandy. And yes, definitely that is one to read. It is, as I was saying earlier, it is really good. And as you probably heard in that, yes, it is out now. So yeah, you can go over there, hop over to your favorite book retailer, and pick it up, folks. And so now the other folks that brought you tonight's show are the fine folks at Per Bostet Publications, where of course Sarah Marion is, and also T. Lee Harris and Marion Allen. Look for announcements on them pretty soon as well. But Purpostet Publications is a small press based in the Louisville metro area, specializing in speculative fiction and other outside the box books. 40 titles in print and ebook formats and a handful of audiobooks. Purpostet offers a little bit of everything. Check out Frenemies in Space, Marion Allen's new science fiction short story collection featuring return character Smartmouth Connie Phelan, or try Michael Dabney's latest David Blaze mystery, A Deadly Game, a prequel set in 1984 Philly. You can find these titles and more at perbostetpublications.com, at Amazon, or you can find the press in person at Kentucky and Indiana book fairs and conventions. Perbostet Publications, where timeless tales unfold. Thank you very much, Perbostet. We really appreciate you. We appreciate you, Sandy Lender, for helping keep the show rolling. So now, yes, we're going to keep the show rolling, and we're going to go right to our guest of the evening. And our guest was with us a couple years ago as an Imaginator guest. So there's your first clue. But he is an award-winning author and editor. He is the owner of Monstrous Books and also the writer of the Dead Jack Zombie Detective series and the editor of anthologies such as Classic Monsters Unleashed, Shakespeare Unleashed, and Kolchak, the Night Stalker 50th Anniversary graphic novel. And yes, he is a Bram Stoker award-winning author. He has also won an Imagine Award. And yes, you probably have figured out who he is right now. The one, the only, and great. And we're honored and excited to have him back on the show, James Aquilone. And yes,
Hey,
your
Hello.
microphone should be on. Yes,
Can you hear me?
I can hear
we
you.
can.
Perfect. All right. I wasn't sure if the thing would work.
No,
I've never
great,
done Podbean before.
great to hear you again. And
It's loud and clear, and it's so far, knock on wood, we've not had any issue.
yeah,
All right. That's good.
yeah, live platforms are always an adventure, and yeah, it's
Yes.
but with us, it's been pretty steady since we've moved here, but you just never know. So, but yeah, your connection is good,
Okay.
and yeah, we of course we haven't seen you in person since you came for Imaginarium, but
Right.
yeah, thank you for coming in tonight on short notice because yeah,
Yes.
well, there's a timely book coming out that we definitely want to talk to you about tonight. But yeah, you've been doing some great stuff. I mean, with especially with Kolchak and everything. You've had successful Kickstarters going on. I mean, I love seeing your posts and updates, and it just seems like, yeah, you. I love your picture of like about 8 million books with cats in your garage.
yeah. I've been very busy the last couple of years, really. I mean, yeah, the Kickstarters have gone insane, and now I'm even managing people's Kickstarters, and they have me doing fulfillment. So I'm shipping books out. I have too much to do.
Yeah,
At
so
this point. So
so the storage area is
It's
full.
good to be busy. Good to be busy.
it's not even the storage area; it's my living room.
Yeah, and you're like taking over.
The
We
storage
know how
area
that
is already
goes.
full.
Well, I
So
could tell you,
now it's moved to the dining room.
I could tell you for your cats that is heaven, because when it comes to cats and boxes
Oh, I
are
love it.
Boxes.
Yeah.
the thing. I mean, whenever I get some vinyl from, I get a new some new vinyl in, I always give the vinyl box over to the cats for the day. They love it. So, so that's something that always is always a good thing. But yeah, just yeah, you're doing some great stuff with Kickstarter, and I'm really excited. There's this upcoming project that you have coming up with Crystal Entertainment, and really looking forward to that one. You've got the new anthology that's coming out that features you, Michael Nost, and Keith Lansdale, and it's coming out pretty soon. So yeah, I'd love to kick this off and getting a little bit of a Western flavored discussion on this, because I was excited to see that.
Yeah, it's three Western horror novellas, and it's part of Crystal Lake's Dark Tide series. All the Dark Tide books are three novellas of a different theme, and they asked me to put one of these together a couple of years ago. And the first thing I said I wanted to do was a weird Western. So Michael was the first person I reached out to, and he agreed. And then we brought in Keith Lansdale, and this has been in the works about 2 years, so it's really awesome to finally to see this coming out. And it's coming out October 25th, and it's called Blood and Bullets. And I'm really excited because this is also the first time I've published a weird western. I know Michael's done a bunch of that, but I love that genre, so it was really cool to be able to do this project.
Yeah, I know that Michael has really been really interested and really passionate about Western in particular
Western.
genre writing, and so yes, I know this is like the perfect time to have him on something like this, and of course everything that I've seen come from Crystal Entertainment is great. Crystal Lake Entertainment is great, and great company, definitely
It
to be
is.
publishing
But
with.
I do have a question for those of us that do not read that genre. I love westerns. I love it. But what is considered a weird western?
It's really just any western with like a supernatural element. But it could just also if it doesn't have a supernatural element, it could just be a straight up like horror western. But
Okay.
all of ours has have a supernatural or paranormal element to it. So you could call these weird westerns. I think on the book cover they're just called Western horror, but they would
Okay.
also be categorized as weird westerns.
Yeah, definitely. It's a genre I love, and definitely if you like westerns and you're into speculative fiction, it's a
Yeah.
great
Great blend.
crossroads of those for sure. And I love the cover. I love the covers. So the figures represent you, Michael, and Keith. There's a trio over there.
I don't know which one's me or which one's him, but each one represents one of our stories.
Yeah, it's great. You got a good classic top hat on one fella, and yeah, the other two, and then one looking down, but he's already got his gun drawn, so the business is about to happen. I think
that might be myself. Yeah,
but yeah, it's a really catchy cover. And who did the cover art? Were you involved in coordinating that? Because you do so many stuff with graphic elements. You do so much.
I wasn't involved with this. Now I forget the name of the cover artist. So,
The cover artist.
Crystal Lake had handled all of that stuff, which is good because I'm a publisher too, so I'm always have to be involved in everything. So it was nice in this situation where I didn't have to deal with any of that.
You didn't have to do all that. Yeah.
No, I just send it the story and I said you handle it. So.
Yeah, I do want to give a shout, because I looked it up real quick, and the artist's name is Ben Baldwin.
Ben Baldwin, yes.
Really
Ben
nice,
Baldwin.
really nice job. I'll be getting a copy of this one for sure. So definitely have to catch up with you in person at some point. Get a signature on it.
Oh,
But
Yes.
absolutely.
yeah, I'm definitely excited about that. Now, when you were in Imaginarium, though, you were we were right in the thick of the Kolchak stuff, and so
Yeah.
and much more has happened since then. And of course, this past summer you had another Kickstarter involving that, and yeah, bring us up to date on the Kolchak world because that's really cool.
Yeah, a couple of years ago, I had done the 50th anniversary graphic novel, and it did very well. We did a Kickstarter in 2021 or 2022. I forget now. No, 2022. We did it on the 50th anniversary because
Mhm.
the show aired originally in January '72. So the 50th anniversary was in 2022, and we raised over $100,000. Um, we ended up then winning like 5 awards. I think it won the Imaginarium Award for Best Graphic Novel
Yes,
too.
yes, it did. Got to
Yeah.
imagine that. Mhm.
And so then after that, after the success of that, I was able to get the rights to Kolchak. So I was able to get the literary rights so then I could publish it myself. And I started doing that this year. And the first project I did another Kickstarter. That's for the original Kolchak novel. Kolchak started as an unpublished novel, and then from that novel, they based the first TV movie, The Night Stalker, which came out in 1972. They based that on the original novel, and then from that, they did the second TV movie, The Night Strangler, and then from there, they did the one season of Kolchak, which lasted 20 episodes. But it all started with that novel by Jeff Rice, and we're publishing that now. The Kickstarter was a few months ago, and I just sent the manuscript to the printer, so I should have that in a few weeks and be delivering that to backers, and then it'll be available to everyone else in February. And then I think in a few weeks we're going to be launching the second Kolchak project on Kickstarter, and that's going to be this big comic book project, which I'm very excited about.
That's awesome. Yeah, when I remember the campaign, I remember it offering a limited edition deluxe novel.
Mhm.
And so, yeah, I'm just curious what all is contained in that, just for the listeners.
So we have illustrations are in there. We have at least 6 illustrations by Russ Braun. He's a comic book artist. He did The Boys. We have
Oh, nice.
introduction by David Dasmalkian. If you know him, he's an actor. He was in Late Night with the Devil, this
Uh-huh.
anti-horror film that came out earlier this year. It was really
Yes.
awesome.
We watched that. Hmm.
And he's great in everything. He's been in Dune, Oppenheimer. He was the Polka Dot Man in the Suicide Squad. He's fantastic. So he's
This
a
is
huge
nice.
Kolchak fan. So he's been doing a lot of stuff with us. And we got Rodney Barnes, who's also a comic book writer and a TV producer and writer, and he wrote the afterword. And then we have the Kolchak expert, Mark DeWidziak. He wrote a profile on Jeff Rice, who was a friend of his. And I wanted to really honor Jeff, who started the whole thing with Kolchak. And that campaign was for the really nice hardcover. It's going to have the bookmark sewn in and red painted edges. So we really want to make it a really
Ooh,
nice addition.
Yeah,
nice.
yeah, it looks absolutely fantastic, and I love how you're starting to develop some really amazing stuff in that area since you've gotten the rights and so forth. Can you give us a sneak peek on maybe some stuff to come in the future as far as, or you got any hints on stuff as
Well,
far
we're
as
going
in
to
the
do a comic book thing. It's going to involve several comics, and we're probably going to start announcing stuff in a couple of days. But will launch in October for Halloween. Um, and it's going to involve some big name comic book guys, and the art's coming in now, and it looks really fantastic. So it's going to be. I'm hoping it's going to be pretty big.
Now, how is the comic world going these days? Because I see a lot of enthusiasm out there for indie comics at the moment. What's your take on it being in the center of it right now, as far as the demand for comics, the indie comic world, that kind of thing? How's it flowing?
I think the indie comic books are doing probably better than the mainstream comics now because of things like Kickstarter, where you can just go on Kickstarter and raise money for your comic, and comics are expensive, and dealing with the mainstream comic book publishers is difficult. So it's a great platform to do comics, and then I'm seeing more and more of it happening now on Kickstarter. So a lot of people are going that route. Instead of trying to do something with Marvel or DC, if you can get a team together and launch a Kickstarter, you can fund your comic book, and that's what I did. I mean, I always wanted to get into comic books. I mean, that's how I first started reading and then getting into books was with comics. And so that's what I wanted to get into, but it's really tough. I mean, like getting into comics is like trying to get into Hollywood. It's like almost impossible. But with on a Kickstarter, you can do it. So I knew that that would probably be my only way of getting into comics. So when I did the Kolchak graphic novel a couple of years ago, that was my first comic book project, and and that helped me a lot to kind of get my foot in the door in the comic book industry.
I did not realize that was your first project in that area back.
Yeah.
Amazing.
I had one like 5-page story published in a magazine called The Creeps, and that was about it. I mean, I always wanted to do comics, and I had written a graphic novel a few years before that, and I got a contract for it, but the contract was like really bad, where they were just taking all my rights, and so I ended up not signing the contract. So that would have been my first graphic novel, like about maybe 5 years ago. So it was really hard. It's really hard to get into comics. So you're best off really trying to do it on your own, because if you do even try to go with a smaller publisher, they will take all your rights, and the company that did give me the contract, I spoke to a lot of people who had done stuff with them, and they all told me don't go with them. It's a nightmare. So I ended up not doing it.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
See, that's one thing. We're a small publisher, but we don't take any rights. I mean, they got all their movie rights. They got whatever they want to do with it. They've got all those rights.
Yeah. Don't like to
As
tie
far as
anyone.
that goes, because
Yeah.
you should be able to maintain your movie rights and all that.
Oh yeah, they were taking the movie
Comic
rights. They were
rights
taking
and
all of
everything
that.
else.
Yeah, that's.
Oh,
I
yeah.
don't think that's fair.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's kind of what a lot of small comic book publishers are all about.
Mm-hmm.
They're not really interested in the comic book. And they actually said that to me. They said, listen, we don't really make much money with the comic books. We make money through the ancillary rights. So they were more interested in trying to score deals in Hollywood, because
Right.
all they need is really one to go
Yeah,
big.
that's all.
And then,
That's it.
yeah.
One hit.
Yeah,
Yep.
so they'll churn out comic book after comic book, and just hoping
Right.
to get that one book that they can get a deal with. And but that company ended up imploding, and they're gone now.
That's the reason. That's probably the reason.
It's probably
It was.
good reasons. But now selection of artists and all, I know, because I know, comic books are very involved, and of course, a lot hinges on, obviously the artwork. And so how have you gone about either finding or choosing the artists that you work with on the projects? What's some of the stories on that with your artists?
Well, in the beginning, I really didn't know too many people, so it was really kind of just like finding one person, and then having them connect me to somebody else, and then having them to connect me to somebody, and that way it was kind of like building up this like Rolodex of artists. So I kind of got lucky that my first project was Kolchak, because there were so many fans of that show, and they wanted to be involved. So a lot of people started reaching out to me. So
Nice.
like David Dasmalkian, he reached out to me. Steve Niles, who wrote 30 Days of Night, he reached out to me. He was like, "Oh, I want to do Kolchak." He was just tweeting this, and then I ended up contacting him, and I'm like, "Are you serious?" I'm like, "Yeah." So then he ended up writing a Kolchak story, and he's already written like a bunch of stories for me after that. So Kolchak really helped me out, and just that, people came to me, or if I just like found someone's email, and I would just message them and say, "Hey, I'm doing this Kolchak thing. Would you want to, be part of it?" And I got a lot of yeses. So that certainly helped.
That is awesome. Yeah, because I know a lot of enthusiasm from folks on that one, and I know probably a mutual friend of ours, Bobby Nash. I know he was just really excited about that project when you got underway. And
he wrote a prose story for the deluxe edition, had 10 prose stories, and Bobby Bobby did a story there.
Yeah, yeah,
Nice.
yeah. I love Bobby's work, and great,
He's a
great
fun
guy.
guy.
Yeah, a lot of fun. Yeah, definitely a character out there in the book world. But and God, it's like a traveling library now. I don't know if you've seen pictures on his recent
Yes.
convention, but yeah, he has so many
Yeah, a
titles.
ton of books. It's like two tables.
Yeah, I just look at it and go, "Oh my God," trying to keep up with all that. But so as far as yeah, some of the on the editor side of things, and as far as looking for the stories, I mean that's how do you choose the right kind of stories for things like this, because you've got something that is an established franchise, but of course you want to have different flavors of different things. So give us a little. I'd love to get a little insight from your approach as an editor in how you made the determination on what goes into it in terms of the stories, and what attracted you to certain stories.
Stories? You mean Kolchak stories or just?
Yeah, we can keep on that, sure.
With Kolchak, it was I just wanted to really stay faithful to the show. So it was like,
Mm.
don't really try to don't give us like a reboot or reimagining of it. Just give us like the what would have been like the second season of Kolchak. So I'm not a fan of many of these reboots. So I just want
No,
and the fans of Kolchak too, just give us more Kolchak.
right.
So
Mhm.
and the people who were working on it were all huge fans. So like they knew what Kolchak was about. So it was just like, for them it was like a dream come true. So I never would had to really be like, oh, this doesn't work. They usually were like, oh, this is a Kolchak story I wanted to tell for years. So that also again, it was just kind of easy with Kolchak. So with that, it was just like, just give me a classic Kolchak story, and most of them,
Mhm.
I would say all of them really knocked it out of the park and turned in like these really awesome stories.
Yeah, and you definitely did deliver. Yeah, as far as the quality of the stories and that. But I understand. Yeah, because I'm Holly and I both just it drives us nuts the attempts to reboot and reimagine just
Yeah.
everything that's out there. It's just give the fans actually what they want. I know it's almost a foreign concept out there, but it's definitely something that I understand completely. So how have some of the other anthology projects gone? If you'd like to comment on a few of those and the types of stories in those, since they're very different.
Well, usually I like stuff like the Kolchak. I like to do retro stuff, and I like to go like delve into like the classics. So my first anthology was Classic Monsters Unleashed. So we did new stories based on Dracula and Frankenstein and the Mummy. Uh, then the follow up to that was Shakespeare Unleashed, where we did horror stories based on Shakespeare. So I like doing that. I like dealing with like the public domain characters, and I like doing with the licensed characters. But I kind of really didn't think about it. But when I started looking back on all the stuff I was doing, I was like, yeah, most of this stuff has like this retro flavor to it. Right? I like, it's all the stuff I was into when I was like 8 years old, basically.
Well, hey, that's where your passion is. That's where it comes, and that's. I
Yeah,
mean, the 8-year-old in me still drives a lot of what I'm interested in too. So
absolutely. It's
Oh,
westerns
yeah,
and
me too.
superheroes and it's
yeah,
monsters. So
Yes.
I don't really overthink it.
yep. But but I think with your stuff, I mean, it definitely has a. I mean, it's kind of one of your projects. You definitely deliver a just to use the term branded, a really good branded look. I mean, it definitely has. There's a cohesion, I think, with a lot of the stuff that you have coming out, and yeah, it definitely has your stamp on it for sure. So I think fans can readily identify some of your
Yeah. Because I
projects.
mean, to me, it's like I'm the audience, so it's just like I'm just doing stuff that would please me. So,
That's yeah
so I guess there is like
Yes.
a theme to it,
yeah.
and the other thing too, which I want to talk to you guys about too, is that my Western novella deals with H. Holmes, the serial
Hmm.
killer, and I'm also very interested in
Nice.
serial killers. And I know you guys had
Jeff Mudgett.
Jeff
Jeff
Mudgett
Budget.
there, and I was kicking myself for not going last year because
Well,
I had watched.
I can put you in touch if you ever want to be, because I'm still I talked to Jeff. So
Oh yeah,
I,
absolutely. Because I saw the documentary he did. I thought that was fascinating.
Yes, and he's got so much more to tell.
There's
His
so
hands
much
were
more.
tied. His
Uh-huh.
hands were pretty much tied by the History Channel,
Hmm.
and he's got so much more he could tell you.
Yeah,
So yeah, I'll put you guys into touch in the next couple days.
Oh, that'd be
yeah,
awesome.
and not all made it onto that show by far, and there's been more
So
since. There's been a lot more
yes,
since.
and he's working on some new projects to where he will be able to elaborate
Okay.
because his NDA kept him from saying a whole lot. And he said
Oh.
at Imaginarium, he said, "I'm going to tell it like it is. It'll be my first time." He says, "If they sue me, they sue me. I don't care." He's a
Right.
lawyer himself, so he's like,
Right.
"Let them come." And it was fun. Jeff is a neat dude. He really is.
Yeah, well,
Yeah, that was great because I've always been fascinated with H.H. Holmes, and I really
Yeah,
haven't seen many stories, fiction stories that involved H.H. Holmes. So I was like,
that's true.
I was like, oh, I want to do a western, but I was like, I gotta find a way of putting H.H. Holmes into it. So my story is that H.H. Holmes is he's arrested and then he escapes from prison in Chicago, and then he's trying to
mhm.
make his way to his second murder castle in Fort Worth, Texas, which he actually
Texas.
he did have
Yeah,
a second murder castle that he was working on.
yes, he did.
Yes,
So,
he did.
and then it's about this weird bounty hunter who has psychic abilities who chases him down.
Well, it
Uh,
sounds awesome,
Oh,
and
Jeff would really like that.
he would
yeah,
love it. He would love it,
Yeah, he
and yeah,
would.
and you're bringing in some of the great elements because he has was tied up around Chicago with the World's Fair going on about that time, and
yeah,
there were murders around that period, and then of course,
He
and I
had his house
love
up
how you
there.
mentioned the second
House.
one because that's what blows me away about him is he was. I mean, everybody talks about like Jack the Ripper, but when you look at H. Holmes, I think the story is even more fascinating because
oh yeah,
it's so elaborate. I mean, there's just so
Yes.
much to it. I mean,
Well,
building this.
Jeff has correlations, and I mean, I was like, wow. I mean, he was even making me question because there is a lot of similarities between H. Holmes and Jack the Ripper.
yeah,
And the timetable is the most fascinating
Yeah, it's wild.
because, yeah, because when H. Holmes was off of the grid, I mean, he was gone. There is no paper trail of him those 2 years that Jack the Ripper was committing the murders in London. There was no paper trail here of H. Holmes whatsoever. And he had said he was going to England. Well, then when the Ripper murder stopped, then all of a sudden H. Holmes shows back up here.
Hmm. It's really strange.
Quite
Yeah, it's
curious.
really wild to the history. Yeah, he makes a case. I'll tell you, Jeff
He
makes a
does.
real case that yeah, he gets into it with those ripperologists quite a bit. But yeah,
Yeah,
I
he
mean,
does.
I have to say that as an outsider, I don't have a dog in the fight, but it's
Yeah.
yeah, definitely I mean, he definitely makes a case that makes you really
It's fascinating.
look
It's
at it. Yeah,
fascinating to
at
it
the
hear all
very
is.
sides.
least.
Yeah.
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 And I
Yeah.
love how he stayed friends with his oh, I forgot her name, the CIA former CIA agent, but he did stay friends with her that was in
Yes.
the show. So that was kind
Yes.
of cool to hear that they
They're
kept their
good friends.
relationship. Yeah, they did. Which is kind of neat and kind of neat to hear. But yeah, I will definitely yeah,
Mhm.
that's awesome. Yeah, we'll definitely have to make sure that yeah, you and Jeff get
Yeah.
in
I'll
touch.
work that out.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
because
that's a
it'd be great to do other H.H. Holmes stories, and I mean, I don't even care if it's true. I mean, as a
mhm,
fiction
Right.
writer, I love that idea,
yeah,
and
Exactly.
you want it to be true. So, but
Well,
either
sure.
that's
way,
it.
it's
If
like I
you
don't
can
care. This is fiction. We'll just make it
add
up.
some of those elements, and
Oh
make it
yeah,
historical fiction, and it's fun. It's just like if you did the Wyatts or any of any of those characters, White Earp,
Yeah,
any of them. We don't know everything. They've made Tombstone. They've made tons of
yeah,
films about him, and they don't know the exact. But yeah, historical
yeah.
fiction's fun.
Yeah, that definitely is. Yeah, it has a little. It has a feel or something. Yeah, at least that yeah has that feel of history, kind of
Yeah.
floating around it.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
that's a lot of fun to do. Is like to kind of throw it in a little bit of the historical truth, and then
Yeah.
go and do your own thing. I mean, that's the fun of these type of stories. But I don't. Yeah, I mean, and you can't let that. It's fiction, so I mean, you can't let it's not a documentary or a
Right.
a bio, so you just can have fun with it. So that's why I liked with this story, like to try to throw as much of the reality into it, and there was a lot of stuff. It wasn't hard to throw a lot of that in there. This could have, and I mean, he did escape prison, I think several times.
Yeah.
And there were manhunts for him. So
Yeah.
Yep. And Jeff
Yeah.
thinks he also escaped his hanging too, but
oh
His
yeah,
yeah.
you say
execution.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if you got into some of those theories, but wow, there's some ingenious
Yeah, you can run
theories
with
on
that
that.
too. You could,
Yeah.
really run with
Yeah, you
that.
could have a lot of fun with that. But yeah, it's just an amazing character, and it's just surprising to me that more people aren't really that aware of
Yeah.
H.H. Holmes. And yeah, it
Mhm.
finally came out in a video game that I ended up getting back here for
Yeah.
Christmas. But yeah, but I mean, it seems like he's slowly starting to get a little more notoriety. So hopefully, yeah, your story will help break him even more mainstream here.
I hope so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because yeah, it's definitely he's a character of American history for sure. But
Oh yeah.
those I still don't know how they haven't made a movie with those murder houses though, because that just talk
Yeah,
about the street
they were
factor.
supposed to do a movie or a TV series now, based on the book, Devil in the White City.
Devil in the White City.
But it's never happened. A bunch of people like dropped out of that project, so it
Yeah,
never happened. So there's never been like a major movie about Holmes.
yeah, you think it's low hanging fruit in this day and age
I know.
with all the
So
interest in true crime and whatnot, but yeah, it's just strange. It's just strange. So, what are some of your other writing projects that you have going on to look at your author side?
well, I do have a novel that's got but I can't talk about it yet.
All
But
right,
I did get a book deal with a big
nice.
publisher, and it deals with baseball and it's horror. So that's gonna
Cool.
be a fun one. Um, Other than that, we got I have a comic book series called the Omega 11. We did a Kickstarter for the first issue earlier this year, and then hopefully the second issue will come out um, next year, and that's about Doctor Omega was kind of the precursor to Doctor Who. He was in like a French novel, like in the early 20th century, and they say that that's where they based Doctor Who on. So we took that character and we made him this time traveler who has to pull off a heist, like this impossible heist, and he has to collect all of the greatest thieves throughout history to pull off the heist, and that's the story. So that's a really fun story that I'm doing with Zach Atkinson, the artist, and that's gonna be like a 5 issue thing. So that's gonna take us years to finish, but it's a really fun series.
Nice, nice. And we often talk on the show. We do have filmmakers aboard from time to time, and we talk
Mhm.
about the differences. The apples and oranges differences between writing for screenplays and scripts versus novels and short stories and so forth. But I'd love to hear you comment. As a writer, how you what do you like? What do you like most, or about the different forms, writing for comics and that type of storytelling as a writer versus
This group.
short stories, novellas, novels? What about each do you enjoy, and why do you why do you do both? Yeah.
I find writing comics to be a lot easier. I mean, I can knock out a comic pretty quickly. Because, I mean, you have to admit half of the comic is going to be done by your artist. So they put a lot of work into it too, and they might even put in more work. So comics you can write a lot quicker, and I feel like for me it's easier because I'm more visual in my storytelling, and so I see it in my head. So I can do a comic book a lot easier than I can do prose. So prose for me is more of a struggle. So if I have to write like even a 5,000 word short story, it could take me weeks to do. But I can do a comic. I can do it in like a day or two. So I have been writing more comics. But so I find that form a lot easier. I have written some like scripts, like movie and TV. I wrote a TV pilot for my Dead Jack series a few years ago, and that's being shopped around. Um, That was tough, but that was more tough because producers were involved. So they're always giving notes while you're writing it. And they kept giving me like contradictory notes. So I kept just rewriting the thing over and over. So it took me like 2 or 3 years to write like a 50-page TV pilot. So that's tough.
Yep. Oh yeah. Yeah.
It's hard. That's what said. People think, oh, it's only a few pages. That won't be so bad. And then they start getting into it and realize, oh man,
Uh-huh.
I can't spend 10 pages describing this scene. You know,
Yeah.
you don't have it. So yeah, it's hard to crunch all of that information
Mhm.
and
Sometimes.
then,
Yeah.
a few words.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and TV pilots are really tough to write
Mm-hmm.
because you have to introduce the whole world and get all this world building and everything. And this, Dead Jack is a fantasy series, so it's really tough to get to do that one episode and set everything up for the character, to the world, and then the whole series. And so it has to really be well crafted. So that was really hard. And it is hard to write with someone like looking over your shoulder, say, no, don't change this and change that. So it's a lot easier when you just can do what you want and then, send it off to whoever. But I mean, working in Hollywood, not that I've done too much with it, but the little I have, it's tough. And it's tough dealing with the producers and stuff. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
making everybody happy.
yeah, that's the thing. And then sometimes have like a committee, and then the other person disagrees and says, "Let's do it like this," and then someone else said, let's do it like that. And then you're like, well, who am I supposed to listen to? Like who's higher
Right.
up on the food chain? And I guess I should be listening to this guy because he has the money.
Right. No, that drives it. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, because I've always found it interesting. Yeah, the writing rooms and James Fox came in from California last summer to actually do a mock writing room at Imaginarium where they had a
Okay.
whole bunch of writers and tried to gave the atmosphere of a Hollywood writing room for like a episodic series and that's always like been something that
Right.
I can't get my head around it sometimes when you have so many different people like all trying to work on the same thing and kind of follows what you were describing, different, you'd have different people coming in from different perspectives and how do you arrive at that tight final product? And
Yeah, I mean that's a
uh,
whole other
yeah,
situation and beast. It's
yeah,
like, other than about writing, it's just like really trying to figure out how to navigate that world and
right,
how to thrive there, and even just to get your voice out there and be able to contribute. Because if you're not aggressive, then you'll just be eaten up, and then it's a lot of politics. So you don't want to piss people off, and so
right.
it's tough,
Hmm.
But there's it's a lot of money involved too. So you can do very well if you do get into that world. But
Hmm.
if you're like a TV or a movie writer, there's a ton of stuff that you'll do, but it'll just never get produced. You know, but you'll get paid, but you won't get nothing will ever happen with it.
Right.
Yeah, do you see some of the like possibly like Dead Jack Zombie Detective series like as far as a screen format at some point? Do you see something that down the line a little bit possibly?
Like a comic book.
Or no, like an episodic like type
Oh yeah,
show or
I
something.
mean, I would love to see that. That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to. I mean, I think now they've moved that they want to do like an animated series.
Nice.
Oh,
Um,
neat.
but that's a little tougher because it would be more expensive to do because he's in this like this fantasy world of like the 1940s New York City.
Hmm.
And like the whole city's filled with monsters and like mythical creatures and stuff. So it would be a lot of CGI and
Sure.
Yeah.
sets and things like that. So I mean, probably animated would probably be better because then it would be cheaper to do. I think that's one of the issues with that is that it would be a lot of money to put together.
Yeah, it is.
Animes are very popular though.
Hmm.
So
And yeah,
yeah,
animated
they would
series
do
and
well.
animes, all that. Yeah, yeah, some of that stuff is, a lot fresher than, some of the stuff that
Yeah.
almost seems kind of derivative that you see come out these days, where on the latest Netflix series or whatever. I mean, you see lot more of a more of original kind of bent on a lot of that animated material. So yeah, that'd be a good jump for you. And then also I think that with you doing so much stuff in the comic graphic novel area, there's a connection there, because I mean when you're you're creating almost like a storyboard when you're doing a comic.
Yeah.
I mean, in some ways. So I mean, you'll I think you'll be able to make a nice transition to doing a lot of like movie film stuff at some point. Yeah, if you go some of that direction.
I mean,
But with that,
comics definitely is.
yeah,
As far as Hollywood's concerned, it's probably easier to get a comic book turned into a TV show or movie than a prose novel. As I learned early on, and I was told, is that the producers don't read anything. So
Right.
if they have a comic book, they can look
yeah,
at the pictures.
yeah, yeah, and it acts like to them like almost like a storyboard, and they can see it,
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's something they
Yeah, it's
understand.
visual.
Yeah.
yeah,
Mhm.
because there's a lot of the superhero movies. They will actually just take a page from the comic or the graphic novel, and then that's a scene or a shot in the movie, and I've seen a lot of that. Like they've shown that like online. I've seen so they will like go like panel by panel, or page by page, and just take that
Ah,
right from the comic and put it into the movie. So it does make things a lot easier. So,
Absolutely
and they
does.
like it when it's easy.
Yes, definitely
yeah.
does. Now, this year has also been. We did mention, of course, that you, have won a Bram Stoker, and we mentioned the Imaginor and so forth. But like your publishing company, Monstrous Books, you've had quite a year. You've had a nomination for Bram Stoker, Shirley Jackson Award, and two Rondo Hatton Classic Awards. So yeah,
Nice.
you've had a pretty banner year on the publishing side.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what's going on because I've been doing this for a long time and nothing happened, and in the last 2 or 3 years,
Yeah.
all of a sudden, an overnight sensation, I guess. But yeah, I mean, the Kickstarter has really helped. That's really when things started working for me. Is I did that Classic Monster Unleashed Kickstarter in 2021, like right after like a year into the COVID, and that was really successful. And then things started happening, for me after that, and then I just started doing Kickstarters from there, and then the Kickstarters were very successful. So that really opened the door for me, and that's where then people started to like know who I was, because I was getting published, and it was in the horror writing community for maybe like 10 years before that, and
Mhm.
but nothing was really going on. It was like not until I kind of just decided, like, hey, I have to start doing like these big projects. No
Mhm.
more doing this like little stuff. So let me just do some big projects. And when I did Classic Monster Unleashed, I did it was an anthology, and you need big names to do anthologies. And the first person I asked to be in the anthology was Jonathan Mayberry.
Mhm.
And Jonathan said yes.
Yep.
I work with Jonathan on Weird Tales. He's
Yep.
the editor in chief. I'm the managing editor. So I went to him with the idea for Classic Monster Unleashed, and he said, "Yeah, I'm in." And then it was a lot easier to get other people after I had Jonathan.
Oh, that's awesome. That is awesome. And yeah, it's great to see the recognition for your work. As yeah, Shakespeare Unleashed, yeah, was part of that those nominations, and yeah, it looks like
Now,
you.
I've had a curious. I never got to ask you, James. What could you give us the synopsis or the breakdown? What is the Shakespeare Unleashed?
And
What is that about?
we did that's an anthology, and we took Shakespeare's works and made them into horror stories.
Wow. Okay.
Some of them are already horror, like Macbeth, and so we just
Macbeth. I was gonna say Macbeth's my favorite, and it's pretty horrific.
yeah, so we did a couple of Macbeth stories, and some of them we just made
Nice.
more horror. We made them bloodier, and we just did like a side story or a prequel or a sequel to Macbeth. Jonathan Mayberry did a Tempest story where it's basically a sequel to what happened
Ooh.
after the Tempest, which is really cool. So there were some
Nice.
really interesting stories in Shakespeare Unleashed, which were a
Well,
lot of fun.
and I'm gonna have to get it before Imaginarium, so yeah, Mr. Mayberry can put a signature on
Yes.
there, and yes, and then if you get out this year, then you can put yours, and yeah,
Yeah,
I'll just roll
I
out.
think
that'd be great.
Jonathan has been in all of my
Yeah,
Really
books. I think so. Yeah, yeah. He's in Kolchak. He's in Shakespeare Unleashed. He's
yeah,
in
yeah.
oh wow,
Classic Monsters Unleashed, and his blurb is on Dead Jack too.
nice, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
And we're
Oh,
doing
that's
a
nice.
comic book. He's doing the Joe Ledger
Hmm.
graphic novel. So
Yeah, yeah.
I did a crowdfunding campaign for that a few months ago, and I'm editing that, and so we're putting that together. So the Joe
Mhm.
Ledger, it's the first Joe Ledger graphic novel, and that should be out. That should be out before Imaginarium. Hoping we'll get it done by like March or
Oh,
April.
nice,
Yeah, I know that.
nice.
Yeah, I think that came up in our conversation with them just a few weeks ago on the show here. Yeah, I think that one was one of the ones that he
He was
brought up.
talking about.
Yeah, because he had
Mhm.
a. Oh, you know him. There's so many projects
I
he's
Oh,
got.
know.
he's so fun, and he's so fun.
He's,
He's got so many ideas.
yeah, it was. He's a very prolific writer. Yeah, he's
I know.
amazing.
Yeah, I mean, I wish I was like him because he says he sits down and he writes like 8,000 words a day or
Yeah,
Yeah,
something.
yeah, that's what he was
yeah,
talking
just
about.
cranks it out.
Yeah,
So
It's
I don't know
just like
how
a
he does
computer.
that. Yeah.
yeah,
I have no clue. There's no way. Yeah,
yeah. It was pretty amazing. It was
I
pretty
don't
amazing.
care what time I got up or how much coffee I drank or what. There was no way that I
Yeah,
would get 8,000 words out.
but
I don't think I've
definitely
ever
is.
written 8,000 words in a day.
Mm-mm,
Yeah.
mm-mm.
So
But yeah,
that's great though. I mean, because he can really like churn the stuff out. And I know when he was doing those the Kagan novels, these are like these epic
hmm,
fantasy books, which
yeah, yeah.
takes some people like years to do. And like he just turned around and was like, "All right, I'm done. I'm done with book one. All right, starting book two." And I'm like, "What? Are you, come on, really?" So I don't know how he does it, but I mean, I'll have to talk to him about that because I could use some of that because I'm lucky if I get 8,000 words a year.
So I bet but you're working hard all the time because I just like I said I look at your posts, your
Busy,
campaigns,
busy, busy.
your anthologies, your writing projects. I mean, yeah, you're a busy guy. How do you we always ask people about their process and so forth. Do you have a regimen or routine that you follow between the creative side and the business side, or every day, or how does your day unfold, both creatively versus the business of it? How do you divvy your day up?
I don't. I mean, I'm just doing this constantly, and
Yeah.
That's why he's telling you his living room is a mess.
That's
my living room is filled with books. I'm just surrounded by books and cats, and stuff is falling on me. And yeah, I mean, it's just chaos, really. I mean, I'm just trying to keep my head above water. Um, I also have a day job, full time day
oh
job,
my
and
god,
where
oh my god.
I'm also an editor and writer there. So it's like
Yeah,
I'm trying to do things in between the day job, but I work at home, so I can get away with it.
nice. That part's nice. Yeah.
Up all night. So I'm just doing as much as I possibly can, and I'm putting lists together always. I'm always putting together like to do lists. And
Yeah, I'd say just watching you from the outside here and all the stuff going on with you. But
yeah,
Books, Cats, and Chaos, sounds like a good name
and then
for
I
an
just wait
album
for
or something.
people to like yell at me in an email and say, "Hey, why isn't this getting done?" And then I do it. And so that's
Nice.
so I'm hoping I can
Stephen,
get.
Stephen, we have a caller. Chris would like to ask a question.
Okay. Can we do a call-in? Is that all right? Can we do one?
Would that be
All right.
okay, James?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's go ahead and see what we can do here. All right,
Says,
Chris, you
okay,
are
Chris,
on the
you're live.
Hi, Star. How you doing?
hello.
Hello. Do you have a question for James?
Yeah. Well, I have a question for James. And he can answer the question when I. So James.
Yeah.
Okay.
James. When I have a friend. And what's your name? What's the girl's name?
What girl?
You.
Oh,
Holly.
Holly. Yes.
So Holly, I have a friend named Akash from the new friend thing that I do.
Okay.
And the person that is at his new home is rude and not nice. And in the beginning, that person said, "You can come and visit him for one visit, but then I'm kicking you out." And then Mark was saying, "I'm going to." He's going. I'm the person, the T person, going to slam the door in your face. So
Well,
I called.
hold on, Chris.
Yeah,
Would you have a question for James? We are a creative talk
Yep.
show,
Hmm.
and if you have a creative question for James, otherwise, that we are not the right
Yeah.
platform
Platform for
for
this.
this.
Yeah.
okay.
Sorry.
But thank
Sorry, Chris.
you.
Thank you for the call, though. Oh, sorry, James. Yeah.
Sorry about that, James. He was saying he wanted to talk to you, and yeah, so yeah,
Yep. Yeah.
live calls.
Well, evidently, James, yeah, might have a great life advice going too. Yes,
Apparently, James,
people
he
are
wanted life advice. So
people are seeking that as well. But you're going to be really busy, yeah, for too long.
I do got a question though, James. How do you balance your mental health and not getting burned out
Yes,
with the creativity? I mean, because my
with that
word,
much
you
stuff,
I know
product.
what we
Yeah.
go through, and I am burnt out. So yeah, I'm wondering, how do you balance all of this?
Oh, I try to sleep a lot. I'll just be knocked out, and I'll sleep for like 15 hours straight. So that
Mm,
helps.
Sleep
I
is
mean,
good. Yes.
yeah, I mean the burnout is definitely a concern, and the last year has been very crazy because a lot of products been coming in. So I don't know. I mean, I'm just hoping that I don't get burned out, and I'm just trying. Right now, I'm not taking any more projects, so I'm just trying to get a bunch of things done
all right.
by the end of the year, and I'm looking into getting an assistant. I mean, I need to start maybe expanding monstrous and getting other people involved because at this point I can't do it all on my own.
Hmm.
So I
Right.
think that will help a lot if I get other people in there to kind of take the burden off and do
Yeah.
some of the work. Yeah.
Agreed. Agreed.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, we've had to get some, and we need more. I mean, I don't think you could ever have enough, but it's all a matter of money, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ultimately, yeah. That's always
And it's great
the
once you
challenge.
get to it's being in the middle that struggles, because once you make it to the top, I mean, yeah, you've got the money and you're a self-running engine. Then I mean, you can get the help, but yeah, when you're in the middle there
Hmm.
climbing,
Yeah.
it's difficult. It really is.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
you're
because I
right.
mean, like, this is stuff that we've all wanted for a long time, and then you
Right.
get there and you get the success, and you go, "Oh man,
Oh,
no, it's like too much." And it's like you don't want to
yeah.
say no to any projects because you've been waiting for these projects for all this time, and especially like when you're just first starting to see success, it's hard to say no to the
Hmm.
products. You want to say yes to everything, and
Right.
so yeah, I mean, you do have to figure that balance because you don't want to burn out, and then all of a sudden, you go like maybe 6 months where you can't do anything because you're so fried.
That's
Yeah.
Um,
it.
but yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, there's like I love doing this, and it does help. I mean, I don't mind being a little bit like overwhelmed because it does keep me busy, and I don't
Right.
have anything else going on in my life. So I do like having this, to do, and I can do it all day long. But yeah, I mean, it does get to a point where it's like, oh my god, I don't want to, I don't want to mess up any of these projects either. So I want
Right.
to give them my all. So I have been saying no to projects finally, and trying to get things finished and trying to and getting other people involved, and to but that's also hard too because then you it's like who you have to find people you can trust, and then people
That's it.
who do like good work.
Yep.
Right.
That's
Right.
that's a hard. Yeah.
We always say
That's a
find
tough
your
one. Yeah.
tribe.
Yeah.
We've been burnt more than once, and
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, you
Go.
learn
Yeah.
the hard way. and
finding
it's tough.
the
Yep.
right people,
Yeah.
right? Exactly.
That's it.
But it sounds like you've been as you've been coming along and making this kind of progress, you've also been growing in your skill sets because I mean now you indicated that you're running other Kickstarter campaigns in
Yeah.
addition to yours directly. So yeah, you're expanding your skill sphere too. So that's exciting.
Yeah, that's been a lot of fun, and I make good money doing it. And it wasn't even something that I was like pursuing. It was always something I said, like, yeah, I would go and manage other people's Kickstarters. But then people started coming to me after they saw the success of my campaigns.
Right.
And like about a year ago, I have all these people starting asking me to help manage their Kickstarter. So that whole business kind of just grew on its own. So I've been getting like people this. I've never like I didn't start a website. I never promoted any of this. So people just coming to me.
Word of mouth.
Yeah, which is
Mhm.
great because that's what you want, and I'm really happy that people have been recognizing the success of the Kickstarter. So that's been a lot of fun to do, and that's been growing too. And if there was ever a way for me to really get to quit the day job, which I would love to do, and focus on this work, it's really about the Kickstarter management because that's a guaranteed money. Whenever you're publishing, it's always a gamble. So
Oh yeah.
I make
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I make definite money from the Kickstarters, and I like doing them. So I mean, I have I'm working on 2 Kickstarters right now. So one is the graphic novel Dracula that's being done by Matt Wagner and Kelly Jones, 2 big names in the comic industry, and that's gonna launch in a few weeks. And they're doing a 4-issue. Well, it's 4 graphic novels. That's basically like the secret, origins of Dracula, and it's this really gorgeous book. And they made $265,000 on the book 1, and those were all the books that were in my living room because they asked me also to ship all of them out too. So if the next book is even more successful, I don't know. I'm gonna have to get a bigger house.
Yeah, I think you will.
or a shed. You're gonna have to buy one of them little houses at
Yeah,
Home Depot. You
put it in
know?
the driveway. I actually thought of that. So yeah,
Yeah, seriously. Yeah, put a he shed out there.
yeah.
Yep. I think you're gonna have to, yeah, for sure. But yeah, because I love that. I love that picture of the boxes that you posted with the cat or cat. That's just that'll
Cats
give
and
people
boxes.
perspective.
Yes,
But it'll give people
They love
perspective
it.
on the
Yeah.
publishing
it
business.
is. You
Oh my
can
God, yes.
and we gosh, before Imaginarium, we get so many boxes, and they're just
Hmm.
piled up by
They're
the
piled
door.
and piled,
Yeah.
and yeah,
Because why put them up? They're getting ready to go. So we got
yeah,
stuff piled
yeah,
everywhere, and the cats are loving it.
yeah. It's
They're
cat
like,
heaven. Yeah,
ooh, they got all these expensive towers and toys, and
yeah,
no, you show them a box. Wow, that's the
yeah,
greatest thing
yeah,
ever. Wow,
Yeah.
yeah. Yep. Boxes are the
they
thing
can't
for
help
sure.
themselves. They just can't.
But so what have we? I know we're getting near the end of the show here with you, but I wanted to make sure that we cover everything that you might have wanted to cover. Whether to get folks to pre-order books or Kickstarters that you'd like to emphasize. I know you mentioned a couple, but anything that you'd like to really encourage folks to get out there and participate in right now.
Well, like I said, we have the Dracula book coming out. We also have. I am also working on the Kickstarter with Casey Lansdale.
Hmm.
Her publishing company is Pansy Press, and they're doing a subscription box thing, so you can get like a monthly or bi-monthly subscription box, and then they'll have books in it, and bookmarks and artwork and coffee, I think too. And they just announced that Brian Keene is going to have his own box one month. So it'll be some Brian Keene books and then stuff that he curates. So that's going to be a really
Nice.
cool thing, and that's going to
Yeah.
launch soon too.
Oh,
Um,
that's cool.
yeah. So it's a lot of cool projects, and I think we got another comic book, a graphic novel. That's going to be a western too, called Daughters of Django.
Sweet.
Wow.
Sweet.
There's a lot of stuff coming out. Like I said, we got the Joe Ledger graphic novel coming out next year. We got another Kolchak Kickstarter coming out next month. So yeah, we're gonna end the year very busy.
Yes, you are. And I know in October, I'm looking forward to picking up Blood and Bullets so I can check out your
And
stuff
Golden
in
Bullets,
there.
yeah, come out October
Well, I
25th.
will be getting the Shakespeare, of course, because
Yeah,
I
get
can't
that.
help
We're
myself.
gonna have to get that one too. Right?
I've seen it for a long time, and I'm like, what exactly? And I've just never delved into, because I get busy with 100 other things, as you know yourself. And so I thought next time I see James or talk to him, I'm going to ask him about that book.
Yes, and you got the answer. Yeah, right here on the Star Chamber Show,
I do.
and then related to that, where do you want to? This is that part of the show where you get to give the links. What contacts or links do you want folks to find you at online?
The easiest one is just to go to monstrousbooks.com, and that's where you can buy all my books. And then they have all the social media links. You can go to Twitter or X and Facebook and everything there.
Very
Yeah.
nice,
But
very
you can
nice,
find me under James Aquilone everywhere.
nice. Well, I want to thank you so much for joining us tonight. I've had a blast getting to catch up with you and yes,
Yeah.
talking books, cats, and chaos. Yeah,
Yeah, that's my life.
There's your new title,
I
Cats
love
and
it. Yeah.
Chaos.
yeah, books, cats, and chaos. But
Love it.
I've loved it, and yeah, because of course, loved having you as a guest. You were phenomenal, Imaginarium, and definitely love your energy, and just keep going. I hope you're monstrously successful.
Thank
Yes,
you. Thank
in
you.
all things, so you can do this all the time and
Oh,
be
yeah,
able to
this is
have a
fun.
full time. But thank you so much, and I'm going to turn it over to Holly. But I want to thank you very much for being on tonight.
Thank you so much. This was fun.
Yes, thank you, James. And yeah, we hope to talk to you sooner than later. It's been a hot minute,
Mhm.
and I miss it. So yeah, definitely stay in touch, and we'll be talking. And I hope to see you next July, and hopefully it'll
Oh,
work
yeah.
out. Yeah, you could come join us again. I'd love it. I would absolutely
Yeah,
love it.
absolutely. We had a blast at Imaginarium 2 years ago. It was so much fun.
Yeah, yeah, love to have you back. But yeah, thank you, and yeah, try to get some downtime
I'm taking a vacation very soon.
Yeah,
because
definitely.
I know how stressful it can be. But yes, thank you for joining us, and I want to invite all of our listeners to join us next Wednesday, same place, same time, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Podbeam. I want to let you know that tomorrow this show will be, it has been recorded. It will be broadcasted on all your favorite podcast networks, Spotify, Amazon, iTunes, all of those good places. And for the rest of the week, be creative. Have a great night.